Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this week video I'm gonna talk to you about how I bought this bike for next to nothing. I had a vision in my head for what it could become and how I turned it into a weapon that can keep up with modern bikes. I will unwrap all of it, but first don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. First of all, welcome to my workshop, which looks a lot like my dining room, because it is. I want to tell you why I bought this bike, why I built it, and why I had the vision. But I need to go back in time to why I needed a bike in the first place. So when I started to train for triathlon, I did so because I bought a triathlon bike.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
But it's a bit unrealistic to train all the time on a triathlon bike, so I needed a normal road bike to train. So I started shopping online, well not shopping, like browsing online, and to be honest, I couldn't afford a modern bike. They're all thousands of pounds, and if you want to spend less money, then you just get a crap bike basically. And I didn't want a newer bike but with really low specs. So I went on Instagram, YouTube, Google, a bit of everything, and then I came across this channel on Instagram of Tabor Newton, I believe you pronounce it like that, and he had this amazing Colnago vintage steel frame with carbon wheels, modern grip set, and I just fell in love with it. But even building a bike like that would have cost me thousands of pounds. First of all, the Colnago frames are very expensive. The group set on that bike was as round red eat-up, and the wheels as well were very expensive, and my dreaming about building a bike like that kind of went down the drain. But then I looked up on YouTube and I've seen GCN as well did a couple. However, the look of those wasn't quite up my street. So I kept on browsing until I decided to try to make a budget build with a vintage bike. The next step was going online and start shopping for second-hand parts, old bikes, old frames, and I've done a good few weeks of browsing and looking for things until I came across this old Ciöcc, which wasn't in the best shape. For a start, it didn't have the original group set. The brakes were not quite fitting properly and they rubbed on the tire, and I didn't notice that straight away, and I was riding it and the tire just blew, like sounded like a gunshot. It just needed a little bit of TLC. The seller of the bike didn't really know what he had in his hand, so I managed to get it for a really cheap price, which, as I said, was next to nothing. I literally paid £50 for the bike. It is 1989, I believe, handmade steel frame made in Italy by Giovanni Pellizzoli, which is an artisan which used to build frames for really famous cyclists. It looks beautiful. I know it is original because it's got the signature cloverleaf on the bottom bracket, and I just had this vision in my head and it looked beautiful. So I went online and I started shopping for a group set, and yeah, I would have loved to have electronic shifting, but the price was a little bit out of my range, which I didn't really have a range. I didn't really have money to buy anything. I just wanted to. So I tried to keep it as cheap as possible. So I found these Ultegra 6800 grip set for really cheap. I think I paid about 120 or 150 pounds for the whole thing. For the derailleur on the back, the front derailleur, and the brakes, and also the brake calipers. I'm not using those brake calipers right now, but I'll go more into details about why later on. And then the only thing missing was a crankset, which I found also for about £50, an Ultegra 80-100 and is a 160 millimeters length, which is what I needed and what I wanted. So I was very excited to put it all together. So I put it together, and to my disappointment, the front brake didn't fit. It was too short, and even on the longest setting it would rub onto the tire. So I had a little bit of research. I went onto Google, ChatGPT, etc. And I found out that on old bikes you need to buy long reach brakes. So I had a look online, and the choice is very limited. But I found these brake calipers from Condor Cycles, which they're called Condor Strada. And I think I paid £30 for the pair, brand new from the shop. And when they came, I was very surprised of the quality. They've got the quick release to make the removal of the wheel easier, and they just fit perfectly. So that problem was solved, even though I was a bit sad because I love the look of the Ultegra calipers. Another challenge I had, it was to work out what bottom bracket to use for the crankset, because on older bikes you've got threaded bottom bracket and you need to buy an adapter for that. So I had a look online, and I went onto the Shimano website and I looked for an Italian to Shimano 24mm bottom bracket adapter, and the price was £150. So I decided not to go with it. So I shopped a bit more, went on to my favorite shop, which is AliExpress, and I found the same adapter, probably a bit cheaper quality, but I don't care. It is my training bike, and I found it for about £15 or £20, something like that, very cheap. I also bought the saddle from AliExpress. I bought the handlebar wrap from AliExpress, and I bought the cables and the outer cables from my local shop. Then the next choice I had to do, it was about handlebar. I had in mind to put a carbon fiber handlebar, but then I looked around at some pictures online, and I just think that the old stem with the original handlebar just looks a lot better on this kind of bike. And then going on to the wheels. The wheels I did again shop around a bit, but I ended up kind of taking the risk, and I bought a set of wheels from AliExpress, which also, to my surprise, was pretty quick to arrive. I think in less than a month the wheels were here, and I was so excited. I put them all together, put them on the bike, and once again, for my disappointment in this bike build, the front wheel was damaged. I had a factory defect. So part of the brake surface near the valve was delaminated, making it unsafe to use on the road. So I got in touch with them. Then I convinced them to send me another front wheel for free. And they did. And surprise, surprise, 2 wheels turned up, which was very lucky, and I'm very happy about that. But now the wheels are mounted. I'm using Pirelli P4 Sports tire with inner tube in this build, as it is my training bike, and if I get a puncture I'm just quite confident of changing an inner tube. And they are 28mm tires, which fits quite nicely, and it is a quite comfortable size to ride on the road. I haven't used this bike much because the wheel only turned up 2 days ago, but I used it with a different kind of wheels a couple of times, and it is very comfortable. Being a steel frame is not as snappy and as fast as a carbon fiber frame, but it is more comfortable, it's more compliant, and here in the UK the roads are full of potholes, and having a frame that makes the ride a bit smoother is actually quite comfortable and quite refreshing. As I said, it's my training bike, so I will go out mostly on this bike on the road, especially over winter. I'll try to keep it clean so it won't rust. I put some spray protection on it just to try to get the water out, and I think it looks beautiful. I will put some pictures that I've taken in central Oxford, which I think made the bike really stand out. I think it looked amazing. I had a few people stopping and looking at it, and I was very proud. Yeah, and overall I'm very proud of the build. But one question I've got, which I don't know the answer, and I'm not prepared for that, but I'll go and get it. I want to find out how much you weigh. So just give me a second. It's not the lightest of bike. Bear in mind, it's got pedals on, bottle cage, and the carbon wheels are not the lightest, being 88 millimeters. But my guess is around probably 10 kilograms, which is quite heavy for a road bike, but I need to get stronger, so the heavier the better. Also, I am 98 kilograms, so 1 or 2 kilograms on the bike don't really make any difference. I think I should just lose weight on my body first. All right, let's have a look. Okay. And we are at 9.5 on the dot, which is a very good weight for an old steel frame bike. The new carbon fiber bikes, they do weigh around 7.5 kilograms, but you know, a couple of kilograms is nothing. And also it will make me stronger. So yes, I think for this video is everything. I hope you like my bike. I personally love it. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. And if you have got in mind to build your own old school bike and there is something holding you back or you're stuck somewhere, hit me up, and if I can, I'll be more than happy to help you. For this video, it's all, and I'll see you in the next one.